Hi everyone, let's get started. In his article, Canagarajah is exploring the challenges faced to reconstruct local knowledge given the pressures of globalization. Now, what I want everyone to understand is that local knowledge is not a product constituted by beliefs and practices of the past. Instead, it is a construction of relevant knowledge in the context of our history and social practices. Now, the reason why the author is emphasizing that the local is a process is because we interpret other knowledge constructs and social formation based only from our local positionality. Thus, the local is constructed, as he mentions, through sediments of talk, text, poetry, art, memories, desires. And so the problem is that due to the increase of globalization, we have adopted a positionality based on Western and modernist paradigms that were imposed on everyone, creating a tension between the local and the global. So, and as Canagarajah explains, the global holds sway among all communities in the world. As a result, we have lost any objective position from which to perceive the local, which is on page 250. Consequently, he urges that it is necessary to regress and go back to the practice localized knowledge construction. Now, being swayed by the global is also mentioned in this week's required readings. Mooney and Evans and Bourdieu both touch on it. On page 183, under the activity 9.3, Mooney and Evans state the commodification of local language is found in many places. They go on to ask, what does the linguistic variation that has been commodified represent? So it is evident that local language is being altered in order to be used as an economic good, which reinforces the aim of the neoliberal agenda. Now, Bourdieu also touches on this as well when he mentions that global use of mouth, which means that the dominant group is taking over the working class group's identity through language. Going back to Canagarajah, I want to emphasize the role of globalization. Canagarajah moves on to explain that due to technoscapes, ethnoscapes, mediascapes, globalization has worked to the disadvantages of local knowledge because the local finds representation only according to the purposes and forms permitted by the powerful, which is what Bourdieu was just saying. So what do I mean by forms permitted by the powerful? As discussed in his text, he gives an example of literary products that are celebrated in academic and popular discourses that are picked according to the interest of the dominant community, which is on page 248. So the question is, does postmodern globalization truly liberate the local, or does it see the opportunity to mold the local? What the author is trying to highlight is that we have to critically engage with the postmodern condition to make space for the local. Now, to conclude, in order for everybody to understand, is that the article presents a platform to prove the importance of maintaining an ongoing conversation with forms of local knowledge for two reasons. We need to respect the aspirations and independence of marginalized communities, and we have to develop a valid knowledge construction. Now, globalization is a driving force, and we must be aware of its consequences, both good and bad. And the readings for this week highlight how economic capital plays a huge role with respect to language. Thank you.